So I already went through the, I've got my pieces all mixed up here. I'm out of order. So there's my three pieces, my body, my cover block, and my standoff block. And first thing I do is I take the body block and I'll drill a hole in the body block that gives me a snug fit of the shaft of the T-nut. So I want to have that hole that's that diameter, that'll just slip in there with this not a tight fit. I want to be able to slip in, but I don't want it sloppy. Where if it's sloppy, if that's in there and if the wood around here is not supporting the body of that T-nut, any cocking movement like that is going to work this loose up here. With the cover block on, it's not so bad, but it's still going to get loose in there. So I want to drill this hole here as close as I can get to the diameter of this of the body of the T-nut. So what I've done is to figure out what size block I need. So what I've done is I've just drilled in holes that are close to what I'm thinking of I'm going to be using. Then I can usually just take my T-nuts and see which hole it fits into. So you can see that's a 5/16 T-nut, and it fits nice and firm into that 3/8 inch hole. This is a 3/8 inch T-nut. Half inch hole is sloppy. 15/16 hole for that one is the closest I can get for that one. Or here's another 3/8 T-nut. I put that in the same hole and it's sloppy in there. So I had to go down to a 29/64 on that T-nut too. And then once you get that hole drilled, let's see. Once you get that hole drilled, you stick your block, your bolt through the hole and thread it into the T-nut. And then just tighten it up, put it in a vise, tighten it up, and just draw the T-nut down into the block of wood. I've seen some people hit it with a hammer and it doesn't actually go in straight. Well, this way you've got the hole on the top here is the same diameter as the bolt. So that helps force, well no, this one isn't. But it's the washer on here and that is going to help pull that T-nut in straight in and not get caught. So that's how I pull that in. And now if you're using some hardwood, such as oak, you might want to pre-drill. Here, but just put it down in the hole like that and just give it a couple taps with a hammer, and these spurs will make marks on the wood, and then just pre-drill a hole that's going to be a little bit smaller than what those tangs or tabs are, just to help because it's kind of hard to pull it in if you got real hard wood, such as this one here that Rob gave me the other day. This was really hard. This has got a threaded insert in it, but if a T-nut on there, I certainly would have had to drill the holes for that T-nut to be able to insert that in there. So that's the preparation for the body block. Now when I first started doing it, I was countersinking. Got this it's proud of the block. I was countersinking the hole down in there to countersink this surface, so the surface of the T-nut was flush with the surface of this. Well, then when I went to the 3/8, when I did that, the half-inch thickness was not thick enough where the T-nut was trying to protrude out through the bottom. So then I changed my plan, and instead of countersinking that, I would countersink this. This is the cover block. So I just want to drill that hole deep enough for clearance on the T-nut. And there's two benefits for doing it this way as opposed to putting the countersink there. If you put the countersink there, then when you put glue around there, and if you put a lot of glue on like some people do, you stand a good chance of getting glue squeezed out into those threads. Well, with the T-nut proud of that, you put the glue on here, that acts like a bit of a dam, so the glue can't get into the threads. And then also, when I did the countersink in here, if I didn't get that quite deep enough, then my blocks would not go completely together, and I would either have to, drill something on here to relieve it so that it would fit down flush. Well, doing it this way, I got the T-nut in there, I drill this, I put it on there, and I test fit it. If I don't have a nice firm fit, I just come back and I drill it a little bit deeper. So that's the way I'm doing it now. Is I'm drilling countersinking in the cover block, and then I glue those to put glue on, rub it together like that, and then I'll put a bolt through like this to clamp it, to hold it while the glue dries. Okay, then when I'm at this stage here, I got those two clamped together. Oh, before I build the holes, I forgot that. Before I build the holes, I mark the centers of the block. On the body block, I just need to mark on the top piece. On the cover block, I want to mark the centers on both pieces. And I want to draw a circle around, because that's the circle line I'm going to use when I'm cutting it out on the scroll saw. And once you drill the hole, you can't find that center, so you always want to make sure you mark it, put that circle on there before you cut it. So once I get it to that stage glued up, I got my circle on there. Then with my pattern, I take my pattern, put the bolts in it to hold the pattern and keep it from moving. So once I have it like that, now I can take it to the scroll saw, and what I do, I'm not a extremely proficient scroll saw, so I tried cutting around and then going into the flutes and cutting around, going into the flutes, so I just wasn't very pleased with those intersections there of where, you see it better that way or see it better this way?
The second way.
Okay.
We got it.
I wasn't coming around here and then trying to cut in there and then come back out like that. I wasn't very pleased with the changes, the directions there of my corners on my knob. So what I did is I just cut all the way around. It was easy to just follow the line without changing any directions. Then once I got around, then I could come in and then just cut the flutes out on the scroll saw. And you could leave it like that if you choose, but my diameter of my flute here is 1 inch. I got a spindle sander with a 1 inch spindle on it, and I'll show you using this a little bit later. After you do that, then I could take it to that spindle sander and just go around and clean up the flutes if I had a little bit of tear out from the scroll saw. And then once I have that done, then I got my standoff block. Again, I got my hole in the center, mark it so when I go to scroll saw, I got something to follow. And then I bore the clearance hole in it. Then I take the scroll saw and I cut around that. Again, glue it on and use a bolt, put it in there and bolt, hold it, clamp it. And then for a scroll saw version, here's the finished scroll saw version. It's got a MDF and a bolted birch. Okay, but I like to have things a little bit more contour than that, so I'll show you the next steps of doing it on the lathe, finishing on. So basically, I get to that same point, but instead of cutting the flutes, cutting the round on the scroll saw, I'll saw the square block like this, and I use a mandrel. Use a mandrel like that, and on the lathe. No, I'm sorry, I skipped a step there. This is I go ahead and glue the standoff block on. Everything is still square. I glue the standoff block on. I'll screw it on this way first, and I'll clean up this surface here, make sure it's a reference surface there. And then once I get that rounded there, and I can go ahead and I can take some of this material off here to get that down a little bit close to the final dimension. I could do the same thing up here, but I'd rather do it around this way. Even with great pains, you try to get this whole board in this mandrel straight, and you swear everything is in there straight, and then when you turn it on, see, it doesn't run absolutely perfectly true. Now I could fiddle with that. I could drill that hole a little bit larger, and I could fiddle with. I could bring the tailstock up to hold it in center, and then tighten the nut down put a socket in there. I got a through socket. I could put a socket there with my ratchet on there like that. Bring the tailstock up and hold that so it's tight, or hold that true, and then tighten the nut up here and get it to. If I play with it, I can get it to run true. And sometimes you can just move it around and try a different location and get to run more true. But anyway, if I was to start turning the roundness on here with it this way, when I flipped around here, it wouldn't be running true. So I just want to get this surface cleaned up here, and then I bring it up like this, and then in that orientation, then I cut everything, and it'll all be on the same axis there. And then once I get it round down to the proper diameters I want, I'll contour the surface a bit, and then this is the result of doing the same material of what you just passed around. That's the result of doing it on the leg. Okay, so now I've got it cut round, and I want to put the flutes on it. That's one thing you can't do on the lathe, is cut those flutes. Okay, now I was able to, just with this orientation like this, finish like that, I was able to go to the scroll saw and hold it. Now I'm thinking about making a fixture to hold it, just to support this edge here, to get more support. But I was able to just take it like that, go to the scroll saw, and go around and take out most of the wood, and then bring it over to the spindle sander and finish it up. What I'm going to do, since working with Larry, you got to have a jig for everything. Working with Larry, right? I came up with my version of the jig. What this is so this is going to give me a handle.
Can you move it over to the camera?
Yeah, I'm going to. Oh, sorry. So I put my I forgot my pattern. Larry prompted me a while ago, and I just went on past it. I did my pattern. Well, there's the pattern that I made. I did my pattern on DeltaCAD. But I know there's people in the audience here that's sort of computer illiterate, and they start having palpitations and suggest that you have to use a computer for something other than email and surfing the web. Anybody like that here? I'm going to show you how you can draw your pattern. You can draw your own pattern very easily. There's Larry wants to show off his pattern. I'll show Larry's pattern. And Larry, looks like Larry drew his. So it's very simple to draw that pattern. I can either describe this one, or I can actually draw it to show you. I just selected a point, put my protractor on that point. Well, first I'll put a point and do a line out there. So I'll put a protractor on there. So I'm making a 5-sided figure here. 360 divided by 5 is 72. So I came up here and put a mark up here at 72, at 144. Flipped over this way. 72, 144, and then I drew my lines out to give me the points out there. So first, then I drew a circle for my 2 1/8 inch diameter circle. I drew a circle in here for my 1 1/16 standoff, and then I measured halfway between there and there, because I wanted my flutes to go in about half the distance from the outer diameter to there. That's the depth of my flute's going to be. So I measured in halfway, and then I wanted my flute diameter to be 1 inch. So I came out here and made a mark out here at a 1/2 inch. Then I reset my compass to that from there out to there, and put marks on those lines out there at those points there. Then I set my compass back to 1/2 inch, and I just came in and drew the arc then for each of the flutes like that, just going around it from that point there, and that's my pattern to draw, just to draw a pattern. You cut that out and you glue it on, so I want to make that different size. Well, you got to draw it over again. With DeltaCAD, I've got it on the computer. If I want another copy, just go print another copy out. You only have to draw it once. So,
I've got a question, Dan.
yeah.
On the number of flutes on there, is there a big significance between doing, say,
Whatever you feel. Like I said, I like that knob. I patterned mine after that knob.
Well, the biggest reason is you own 5 fingers, some of us.
Well, I'm only putting 4. Well, I guess
You put one on each one of the flutes in there.
Yeah, that works. You have 5 fingers, 5 flutes. There you go. But you can make them square or triangular or whatever.
no particular reason.
I've got a knob at home that's probably got 8 flutes around, just real shallow flutes.
All right.
Just what our feel is. I like the feel of this knob, so that's why I did it with 5 flutes. And that's why the depth of that. I figured that was about the depth of what it was. I just felt like just like the way that knob felt. Okay, well, yeah. Okay, jig. Okay, so that was the jig that I came up with to compete with Larry. Okay, so the first thing I do, I want to line my block up with that bit, so the bit goes up in and out of there without catching on the edges. So what you can do is release. Now you just bring this around like this. And that'll hold it in place. And then pieces back again to make sure it's going in without catching on the edges of that. And then tighten these down.
Those look like store-bought knobs.
Well, I've got enough material there to make some more of these. I haven't got around to making them yet. I'm busy getting all my props done, and I haven't had a chance to complete them. So those will be replaced. You can have these, Rob.
Okay, good. I already got drawers going.
And this is an afterthought. I was originally doing with just 2 clamps, and it was moving on me a little bit. So I just got these last week, and I hadn't had a chance to make knobs for those yet. So that's going to hold it nice and secure. I'm going to put my and when I first started doing it, I wasn't putting the pattern on the top of the knob here. I was just putting it down. I was drilling my first hole, and then I was rotating it around. I thought, well, I'll just line up the flute that I just cut with this one over here, and then just keep rotating around and matching up. Well, I found out by the time I got around here, my flutes weren't matching up anymore. So what I decided to do now is I draw the pattern on there, and then I can drop it in place and line it up. Actually, bring the bit down and make sure it's lined up where I want it, and then latch it down. Okay, for a Forstner bit, this is a little excerpt you get from Wood Magazine periodically. This is a 1-inch Forstner bit. So for a Forstner bit on hard, we'll call that softwood, since it's plywood. A Forstner bit on 1-inch Forstner bit on softwood, I could run it up to 1500 RPMs. I always use a dead man switch on the drill press, so I don't have to go up there. I got it in position. I don't have to look for the power switch. So all I got to do is, if something goes wrong, all I got to do is pick my foot up and it stops. So now, instead of lining up here, all I'll do is just come back in and line it up again with the bit, with that flute. And I go around 4 more times, 3 more times. And you see I got a bit of tear out in there. Since we're coming across where we got the bit is coming here and it's going against the grain, it's tearing the grain out. So to fix that, so I did is I'll just come in there. Now this is slightly larger than 1 inch. So I come in slightly larger, so I just go down till I get to the bottom of the flute, and then just round the corners off a little bit. Little crate stick here to clean that off periodically. Now to get rid of this sharp edge on here, then I'll just hold it like that and just get rid of that little sharp edge on the top. And it's kind of hard, since my standoff is there, I can't really get in to do the bottom very well. So I'll pour a little bit that I can. Then I just come back with some hand sandpaper. I'm just using hand sanding and clean it up. I think that's about it for the T-nuts. Oh, well, one other thing. Yeah, I'll show you that now. You can leave it like that, or now before I put it on the before I put the pattern, I didn't tell you, but I had sanded that block down to 400 on the lathe. And then, of course, the flutes are sanded. This is a 120 grit, so that's as fine as I can get the flutes sanded. But after I get it sanded up, I want to give it a little more pizzazz.
Yes. Who's this one you just did?
So I got a knob, two knobs here, made out of oak. This one has been buffed. First, obviously, it was sanded to 400, I'd say, and then this one has just been sanded to 400. Haven't buffed it yet. So I can go from here to there with the. Now this is the BO buffing system. It has triple E, white diamond, and wax. All I'm using is just triple E. And we'll run that about 1500.
Now, you could do the same thing with micromesh.
If you want to spend, how long? Did you see it? I buffed this side over here, and I haven't buffed this part. That's not be able to see the gloss. Anyway, buff part and buff part hasn't. I was going to show you the difference, but I'll pass it around. I'll just buff, I won't buff all the flutes and you'll be able to see the difference in. I'll leave two flutes unbuffed. Okay. So that was, this one was made from this block of wood here, where you can look at the thicknesses of, that's this thickness here. The bottom part is from this thickness, and the top part is from this thickness here. That's it. Oh,